Welcome back to Bare Earth Healing, the space where we hold raw, real, and soul-led conversations about what it truly means to heal and to come home to ourselves. Today's episode is a little different. Due to some technical difficulties with the sound recording between Australia and Ireland, because apparently we could send people to the moon in 1969 but can't always get a clear audio in 2025, this episode is not in interview format. Instead, this is Fiona Roddy's story told in her own voice. It's honest, it's fierce, and it's deeply human. Fiona shares her experience of healing from generational trauma, including childhood sexual abuse, mental health struggles, toxic relationships, drug use, and ultimately the journey back to herself. Before we begin, please be advised that this episode does contain content that may be triggering, including references to sexual abuse, drug use, and mental health crisis. Please take care of yourself while listening. Pause if you do need to come back to it later, or skip this one if it's not the right time. Fiona's story is powerful and it holds both darkness and light. It's about breaking cycles, about learning to love the self you were never taught to protect, and about becoming the woman she was always meant to be, half woman, half warrior. This is her voice and this is her truth. Let's listen.
Hi Tam, thank you so much for having me on your podcast today. It means a lot to me to put my story out there. I'm hoping it will help some other people that's maybe on the journey I was on, or that's going through pain or some kind of trauma of their own, as everybody has their own story. So I'm delighted to be here and I'm looking forward to sharing my story with you today. So Tam, my uncle sexually abused me as a child. It started when I was around 9 years old to I think about 11 years old. So it wasn't until my early 20s when I was reading a newspaper and it was about a priest who had sexually abused an altar boy. And as I was reading the story in the newspaper, it was like I knew what the next line was going to be in the next line. So it's like I knew what the story was. It was just different people in the story. So for me at that time, it was very strange because I was, thinking to myself, like, how do I feel like I know this story? So as the story was going on and I was reading and reading down through it. So after I finished reading the story, I think it was a few days later when I started getting flashbacks. So these flashbacks were when I was a child. And at the beginning, they were just, me and my grandmother doing stuff with her and been in her house. Now, the uncle that did this to me, he lived with my grandmother. So I was with my grandmother a lot, as I never had a relationship with my mother. My mother, I don't think, knew how to have a relationship with me. So most of my childhood and any time that I didn't need to be at home, I wasn't at home. So I kind of lived a lot with my grandmother. So I used to be in my grandmother's a lot. And it started off, I think, the very first memory I have would be when my grandmother was sick, because I usually would sleep with her. So my grandmother was sick and she made me up a little like camp bed, which I was quite happy, as a child, that was like a little adventure. So I was quite happy doing this because she was a little bit sick. So I didn't want to be keeping her awake by twisting and turning as children do in the bed. So I was lying in this camp bed and all happy with myself, and my uncle came into the room and he kind of just sat on the end of the camper bed. And at that time, I didn't think anything of it. He was my uncle. I used to see him all the time. And he moved a little bit closer and a little bit closer to me. So he had his hand then kind of on my leg, but over the duvet, which was okay because, he was my uncle. I didn't notice anything, at this time that was different or he shouldn't have been doing something. So that was the first memory I have. As the memories go on and the other times that I remember, it went from his hand in under the duvet, then it was in under my night dress, and then putting his hand places where he shouldn't have been putting them. That was the start of it. So this went on for quite some time. As far as I can remember, I kind of pulled myself back from my grandmother's house a little bit because it did make me feel uncomfortable, even though I was like 9 years old. I guess I probably did feel something was going on here. So I did pull myself back from my grandmother's house and didn't go to her as much as I used to go. But of course, then she was asking what was going on, what was wrong, was everything okay, because I wasn't in to visit her. So I went back to my grandmother's house, and there's one other occasion that I remember. I don't remember the details beforehand, but all I can remember is being in his bed, and he had taken all my clothes off, and he was naked beside me, and he was making me masturbate him. He was telling me what to do. So I remember I was crying at the stage because I never seen like a penis before. I didn't know what this was, and I didn't know what was going on at this time. So as the time was going on, he was telling me what to do to him, and he was kind of doing stuff to me. At the end of that time, I remember he ejaculated it all over me, and he told me to go into the bathroom and wash myself, wash it off, and go back into the camp bed. So that's just one memory that's in my head, like it just happened yesterday. So after that occasion, I stayed in my own house because definitely after that, I didn't feel that was okay. I felt not good about myself, and I was very confused. So I kind of stayed at home, but then he started coming to my house where I lived. It was a regular Saturday night thing, like clockwork every Saturday night, where he'd come and he'd bring me sweets, and he'd tell me that I was his favorite niece. And, this is our little secret, that type of thing. And that went on for quite some time. I still can't figure out how nobody else in the house heard me crying with pain, with being afraid, how nobody seen all the blood on the sheets, on the duvet. On one occasion, there was blood on the carpet. I don't understand how nobody seen this and didn't question it. So this went on for quite some time. And then I think when I was around 11, I suppose I was older, and I was a little bit more clever that this should not be happening. As I was probably growing up, I was getting a little bit more wise as well, that this shouldn't be happening. So I started like not being in the house of a Saturday night. I was always kind of staying at my friends, or I'd make sure that my sister was in the room with me, or that kind of thing. And then eventually it just frizzled out. He stopped coming. And that's what kind of, then I think it all frizzled out then after that. I just kind of took myself out of the situation, which it did go on for the good few years. So that was kind of a little story, kind of it put into a shorter version for the podcast. So as I said there, that that was all put into kind of just a shorter version. There was, of course, lots of times that I remember him touching me and doing stuff that he should not have been doing to his niece. There is a lot of other things. As I said, I didn't start getting flashbacks till my early 20s. At the time when I started getting the flashbacks, it was kind of, here and there, and I literally thought I was losing my mind. I didn't know if I was coming or going, if these were real, if they weren't. I was kind of going a little bit insane. My whole life kind of focused around these at this stage because I didn't know if this was real or what was going on. So I decided to go to the doctor because I felt I was literally going insane. So I went to the doctor and I told the doctor everything I just told you there, and the doctor knew straight away. So he said to me, Fiona, I think you suffered a lot of trauma, and I think maybe somebody might have abused you. Once he said that to me, it didn't really, I was like, what? No, what are you talking about? No, like who? I didn't remember nothing. So I was like, no, I wasn't kind of accepting that. So I left the doctor's, And he said, before I left the doctors, he said, I'm going to refer you to a counsellor. So he did that. So I came home and I was sitting on the couch and I was trying to digest all of this. And it was like, at the beginning, it was like, no, God, no, nobody would do that to me. I just wasn't accepting this. And then I think it was a few days later, I was sitting just at my kitchen table and all of a sudden in my mind, this story came and it was all the flashbacks put together as a story. And I felt at that moment that I got hit by 1,000 trains all at one time, like moving trains. It was like my life was never the same after that. My life completely turned upside down, inside out. That was the moment that my life just turned never going to be the same again after remembering that experience, after remembering that story, after the whole thing coming together as a story in my head. So as you can imagine, trying to deal with that was extremely hard. I was just broke up from a relationship as well at that time. So I had my two sons. They were quite young at the time. I think Dean was 4 or 5 and Reese was maybe not even 1. So I had just got out of a really violent relationship. So between dealing with that and then dealing with this, of course, my mental health wasn't good at all. I started drinking to see if I could stop thinking. Then when the boys would be in bed, I'd have my drinks. Obviously, I'd wait till they were in bed, and then if they were gone with their dad for the weekends, I'd be, just drinking all weekend, anything just to forget, to make me stop thinking. Then, of course, when the drink wasn't really working anymore after a period of time, I started with, say, taking ecstasy pills, speed, any kind of drug that I could get my hands on. And that did work for a little while, of course. It worked at the time, but then the next day or the day after, it was all back again. So this went on for quite some time. I do have to say, if I didn't have my two sons, I don't think I'd be alive right now. I think I would have just drank myself to death or taken some drug that would have killed me. At that time, I didn't care, but I did care at the same time because I had my two sons to look after and they needed me. So that was a big thing in my life that I had them. So even though I had my drinks at night time and they were in bed, I still got up the next morning, brought them to school because I had to. Not to school, well, to school and play school. So they were a lifesaver for me as well, having them, because if I didn't have them, I don't think I would have cared what happened to me. So that was something good in my life at that time. Then as I started seeing the counsellor, I was seeing her for 6 years. I was still the same person coming out after the 6 years as I went in the very first day, which is extremely important to find a counsellor that you click with, that's for you, because not every counsellor is for you. So I knew this wasn't working because I didn't feel any different. I didn't feel I'd made any progress. So I decided to leave that counsellor. And at that time, I actually left the town I was living in because my uncle lived not too far away from me. And at least a few times during the week, I would be in the town, going to the chemist, doing my shopping, and I would see him. And there was one particular time that kind of topped everything. I had to leave after that was when he was coming out of a chemist. I was going into the chemist and we literally bumped into each other because he was coming out the door and I was going in the door, and I literally rubbed against him. I got such a shock because he was standing right in front of me. I dropped everything that was in my hands and I ran to my house and I got into my shower, and I didn't get out of that shower for about an hour. I scrubbed the skin of myself. I was red raw when I came out of that shower because he had touched me and I felt like I was like back in those moments again. It had triggered those moments when he was doing stuff to me as a child. And I was in that shower for about an hour and I was scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing. And as the water was going down me, I was triggered so much that I could see a blood running down me, not water, it was blood, because that's usually what would be all over me once he was he did what he did to me when I was a child. So seeing the blood in the shower triggered me even more. So you can imagine how my mental state was at that time. My mental state was so bad. Um, it was so bad. It was like some days I go to bed and I wouldn't want to get out of bed for a week. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to look after myself. The trauma, the triggers, the whole thing, it took over my whole life. Um, I don't, to be honest, when I think back now, I do not know how I coped and how I survived and how I managed day to day. But I think my sons again saved me because I had to look after them. They needed me. I didn't want to be my mother. I didn't want to be the way she was with me. I didn't want to be that kind of mother. I wanted to be the best mother for my children because I never had a mother. So I had to show up for them every day. And that was the hardest thing, to put a smile on your face. And you were absolutely breaking inside with anxiety, with grief, with anger, with sadness, with so much different emotions. It was it was unbearable. So, some days were unbearable. There was days where I thought I just didn't want to be here anymore. But because of my sons, I kept going every single day. So it wasn't until that time that I met my uncle in the chemist store that I thought, okay, I can't deal with seeing him during the week as well as trying to deal with all of this. So I moved to a different town. And I got a new counselor in the new town that I moved to. And I have to say, she was absolutely amazing. Her method of counseling was all breath work. So I think within 6 months of going to this lady, I had the strength, I had the courage, I was starting, to get better. I was able to walk into the police station and report what my uncle had did to me. Now, those 6 months counselling were extremely tough because with the breath work, there's a lot of vomiting involved. So my 1 hour a week I would have with her, I literally would spend the whole hour vomiting into a bucket, into a bin. But that was just all the trauma coming out of me, all the toxic stuff coming out of me. Now, at the time, it was exhausting. And when I went home that day, I'd have to sleep for the rest of the day. But the day after that and the day after that, then I could feel such a difference in myself. So 6 months of that, I got the strength to walk into a Garda station, a police station. It's Garda station here in Ireland, and report what my uncle did to me. It was the hardest thing to do, but also the best thing I did was go in there to report him, to tell somebody what he did to me, not to be holding it inside any longer, because I think I was at the stage where I wanted justice now. I did so much work with the counsellor. I wanted justice. I wanted people to know what he did. It was hard, but my God, it was the best thing I did. I think the statement took about 3 days in total to complete, as there was a lot of vomiting, a lot of tears, a lot of emotions, a lot of stop starting. But eventually got the statement made. Now, the court did go on for a good few years, between being adjourned, the police not having the proper information, my uncle denying everything after he was arrested. He denied everything. So it did go on for quite some time. When I reported to the police, it was my 30th birthday, and my sister was, up with me, and we were going out to celebrate my 30th birthday. And that was the day that I told her what had happened to me. And she absolutely floored me. I had to sit down because she told me that he tried to do a few things to her as well, which absolutely broke me, because I always thought, okay, I'm happy it was me that went through all that, and not my sister, because my sister is like a few years younger than me. And I'm happy, as bad as it was, I'm happy it was me that suffered and not her. But then when she told me that he was doing little stuff to her as well, now thankfully it wasn't as bad as what he did to me. I'm glad I got the brunt of it and I got the most of it to protect my sister. But he still interfered with her a little bit as well, which was absolutely heartbreaking and hard to hear. So she obviously went then to the guards as well, and she reported it, what happened, the part that what happened to her and the different occasions and what he did to her. So the court did go on for a good few years. He denied it and denied it and denied it. It was very hard to sit in court, listen to him deny it and call us liars. Myself and my sister, we lost everything during that court case. All my aunts, uncle, cousins, they all disowned us. They didn't want to talk to us. They didn't want to know us. We weren't part of the family anymore, which was devastating, because we had this family and all of a sudden we have no family, which that was extremely hard. The court case went on, and I think finally one day in the court, he said, well, I might have done something, but I didn't do what they're saying, but I might have done some small little thing. So he, me and my sister, to run consistently together, I think that's the word, he got 2 years only, which was disgraceful. It was disgusting. It was very hard for us to hear that, because there was a man in before us in the court, and he stole a tractor and he put it up online for sale, and he got 4 years for stealing a tractor. And here was an uncle that abused his 2 nieces as children, and he got 2 years. That was, for us, that was hard to stomach. That was hard to hear. It's like, it's okay, 2 years, which is disgusting. The justice system is disgusting, is disgraceful when it comes to stuff like this. And I think some countries are better than others, but definitely Ireland needs to up their game and protect children better, because we feel we weren't protected enough there. So I really thought after the court I would be feeling so much happier, relieved. I'd heal a little bit because it was closure. But no, it was the opposite. My anxiety, depression, it was like there was such a high for so many years with the court. And then when the court was all over, I suppose, so you go up so high, I suppose you have to come down. And I came down, I hit the ground like a ton of bricks. My anxiety, my depression, it just got worse. I was attracting the wrong type of men. I was attracting the men that I thought, because what my uncle did, I thought this is what men do. So they were the type of people I was attracting all the time. So there's a lot of physical and mental abuse from relationships that went on for quite some time. And then there was one particular one which was very controlling. And my son said to me one day, Mom, I don't like him. And once my son said that to me, it made me realize, going, oh my God, Fiona, what are you doing? It's not just your lives that's been affected by this. It's your sons as well, because you're bringing these men into their lives. Now, at this time, I didn't realize, because I wasn't healed properly. I suppose I just didn't know. I wasn't aware of it kind of at the time. But once my son said that to me, I was like, whoa, okay, no, Fiona, something needs to change. Something needs to be different. You have to stop this. So that's when I started looking into different ways of healing, different approaches to healing. Because the counselling was working, but I needed more. I felt I needed more to help me. So I started looking into different things about healing, especially after trauma, after sexual abuse. And I got a lot of information from different resources, which was great. And that's, I think, the time that my healing started. So this year then I decided, okay, I want to do something um, to help people, especially those people that's had trauma in their lives. It doesn't even have to be sexual abuse. It could be any type of trauma or pain. Pain is pain, no matter what the story is. The pain is still the same. That doesn't change. So at the beginning of this year, I had another kind of little breakdown, we'll call it, and I didn't want to live anymore. The anxiety was back, the depression was back. I hit rock bottom. I hit the ground with the bang. But I'm glad that happened because I needed that to happen to give me a little bit of kick up the ass because I was going in a different direction with my life. Then this happened, and now this has put me on the path that I should have been on a long time ago. But I do truly believe that everything happens at the right time for you. So this, what happened to me at the beginning of this year, that's what I needed to happen. And even though at the time it was horrible, I thought I was in hell, but I found coaching through this. So I was like, okay, because I always, years ago, I always thought, okay, I'd like to be a counselor to help some people that's going through a bad time in their lives. I'd like to be able to help them like all the counselors and the fantastic people I met on my journey that helped me. I'd like to put that back into the world and help people. But because back so long ago when I wanted to do this, I didn't have the money to do the course. I'd like my kids were younger, and there was so many things, so I kind of it was left at the side. But now this year, when I found coaching, I thought, wow, okay. And once I came across this coaching, it was like something inside me warmed, and I was like, this is me. This is me. And then doing the coaching course, it's like I'm doing the course, but it's also self-development and growth for me as well. I have recognized so many things since I started doing this course, and I have changed my perspective on things. I have changed my mindset about things. I'm in a healthier place now. Because before this, I used to always say, why did this happen to me? Why did I have to have such a shit life? I see my friends and they'd have great relationships with their mother, and they'd have a lovely childhood. They'd be on holidays, they'd have, always so happy, and they'd always be talking about their childhood. And I'd always be saying, oh my God, why couldn't I have something like that? Why? Like, why me? But since doing this course, I have learned that not everybody can be a coach and can help other people. I have first-hand experience of what trauma is and how I got through sexual abusive as a child. I got through this. I don't need to look at any textbooks. I don't need to do any course on that. I have first-hand experience on all those things there, straight away, ready to give and ready to help somebody else that's on the same path that I was on all those years ago. I have this. I don't need to be trained in this. So I see this as I was chosen. I was chosen for this. I was chosen to help people now. So I don't see this as why did this happen to me? I see this now as this has happened for me. So I have learned how to turn all that pain that I've suffered, all that pain, all those years, I have now turned that into power. So pain into power is the most amazing thing ever. Healing, healing is quite a journey, and I guess it's different for everybody. Healing for me was a lot of hard work, a lot of tears, a lot of happy days, a lot of sad days. But I really wanted a better life. I really wanted the suffering to stop. I felt like I'd been suffering all my life. Every day was a struggle. Every single day was a struggle. And I wanted it to stop. I didn't want to live like this anymore. I wanted a better life for me. I wanted a better life for my two sons. So I decided, okay, that's it. I'm doing this and that's it. I deserve a better life. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to have good relationships. I deserve to go through a day without anxiety or depression or not wanting to be in this world anymore. Life is a gift and I want to enjoy it. And enough of my life was taken. Like my uncle, he stole my childhood away from me. He stole all that away from me. And I had enough at this stage. I said, no more. He's taken so much of my life already. But I said, no, no more, no more. So I started putting in the work. I started doing more counseling sessions. I started more self-care, self-love, looking after myself more. I started loving myself every day a little bit more and more and more because I deserved it. I deserved a good life. It was shit before this, and everybody deserves a good, happy, healthy life. And this is what I wanted. So I did it. I did my work day by day by day. Some days were harder than others, but I kept pushing through. I kept pushing through. And as the days were going on, I did start to love myself more. I did start to look after myself better. I went and I got qualified as a personal trainer and fitness instructor, which was fantastic for me as a person, for, getting healthier, getting fitter, also helping people to be on that journey as well that wanted to get fitter, healthier, lose weight. So I was helping people at the same time. And this is something that if anybody that knows me will know this about me. I just, to help somebody is what I love to do. So this was very good for me. I enjoyed it. I loved it. And I did. I got my body healthier, fitter, and my mind was slowly catching up with it as well. The anxiety kind of went a little bit. The depression wasn't as bad now. I did still have some days that were worse than others, but you'll have these days. So slowly, I got myself into a better place. I wanted to have more healthier relationships. So as the relationships were going on, when I used to meet people, I'd notice the red flags. So I'd be out of there straight away. But as the time is going on, the relationships, the abusive relationships were stopping. I wasn't meeting those type of men anymore because I wasn't in that frame of mind myself anymore. So I wasn't attracting those type of people. And I continued on and continued on and continued on day by day. Sometimes something would happen and you'd get a trigger and it might bring you back for a few days, but you'd get up again and you'd fight and you keep fighting and you keep fighting, because this is what it's all about, is you keep fighting for yourself. And I didn't want to give up on myself because I made a promise to myself that I would get better, and I did. It's a good while ago now. I got a tattoo. I have a full sleeve on my arm. It's a Native American theme. And I also got this little saying on my arm because I needed something to help me through the days that were bad. So I got a tattoo on my arm. It says, half woman, half warrior, delicate and strong. So every time that I have the bad day or I find times a little bit difficult, I look down at my arm and I see it every single day, and it gives me the strength to keep going, be the person I want to be, live the life I want to be, live the life I want to live, and be happy. And I've done it. I'm at a stage in my life now where I'm happy. My mind is calm. I'm at peace with myself. I have realized through doing the trauma course that my mother just probably was never mothered by her mother properly. So she didn't know how to mother me. I have learned that my uncle probably was abused by his uncle or his dad or his grandfather, and this is all he knew. It shouldn't have happened, but I do have a little understanding of it from doing the trauma course. I have come to peace with so much. If I seen my uncle now, I wouldn't get stressed. I wouldn't have anxiety because I'm calm with myself now. He shouldn't have done what he did to me, but I'm at a point in my life where I don't let it affect my life anymore. It's part of me. It'll always be part of me. But that's just me now. And all that pain has turned me into the strongest woman ever, that has the confidence to do what she wants now, has the confidence to get out there and to live life. And that's what I wish for everybody else out there that is going through a hard time, that's on their healing journey. You deserve the best life. My message to any beautiful souls out there that are going through the shit at the minute, going through times that they feel they're not going to get out of, that have anxiety, have depression, that are on their healing journey. My words to you guys are keep going, because enough of your life has been taken by trauma, by pain. And you deserve to have the best life that you possibly can. There will be days that are hard. There are always going to be those days. No matter who you are, you'll always have those days. But just to keep going. When the anxiety comes, learn how to sit with it and go through all those emotions, because the more you fight those emotions, the stronger they come back next time. The more you acknowledge them and you sit with them, the weaker those emotions get, the weaker the anxiety gets, the weaker the depression gets. And you are strong. You are stronger than you think. You have been through so much already. You are strong enough. And always, always, one day at a time, one foot in front of the other, keep going. Keep going. It's so worth it. I'm at a stage in my life now where I am happy. I love life now. I love everything, no, I don't let stress get on top of me anymore. Anxiety, depression. I learned how to control those things. And if I can do them, guys, anybody can do it. That's the God's honest truth. Anybody can do this. So you are beautiful. You are worth it. Keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. And one day you will get there. One day, each day at a time, it'll get easier and easier and easier. Trust me, I promise you, it'll get easier. You have to put in the work, but once you do that, you will feel like how I'm feeling now. You will get there. So there is light at the end of that tunnel. I promise you. And I hope by sharing my story now that it's helped you understand a little bit, help you feel, help you know that you're not alone, that there's always someone there as well for you. So I wish everybody the best and take care. I'm sending big hugs to anybody that's going through it at the minute, because I know exactly how it feels, exactly how it looks, and I understand it. So I give you a big hug and I wish everybody the best.
Thank you for being here and for witnessing Fiona's story with an open heart. What you've listened to is a journey of breakthrough, through pain, through silence, through generations of trauma, and finding something fierce and beautiful on the other side: self-worth, self-trust, and healing. If Fiona's story resonated with you, or you simply want to reach out and let her know the impact her voice had, you can connect with her on Facebook. Just search for Fiona Roddy, Roddy. Stories like Fiona's are what this space is all about. Real voices, real healing, real courage. If this episode stirred something in you, take a moment to be gentle with yourself. Maybe go for a walk, journal, or simply sit in stillness. Let your body process what it needs. And if you think someone in your life needs to hear this episode, feel free to share it forward. You never know the ripple it might create. Until next time, keep coming home to yourself, keep rising in your own way, and remember, you are not alone.